The day the sky cracked open above Earth, I knew everything about humanity was about to be rewritten. A silver streak tore across the clouds, a vessel unlike any we'd ever seen. From it emerged Commander Zyra, the most feared tactician in the Zarek Armada. And she came to Human Military Academy, not to conquer, not to negotiate, but to observe. Captain Alex Monroe stood at attention as Zyra's six-legged silhouette cast a long shadow over the parade ground. Her eyes, orbs that shimmered like molten metal, scanned the cadets with an intensity that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. "Commander Zyra," Alex said, his voice steady, though his pulse raced. "Welcome to Earth's premier military training facility." Zyra tilted her head, a gesture that was almost imperceptibly curious. "I have heard tales of human resilience," she said, her voice like grinding crystal. "I will see if they are justified." The cadets formed perfect lines, rifles glinting under the pale morning sun. But Zyra's gaze passed over them as if they were microscopic insects. Then she focused on Alex. Something flickered in her alien mind, perhaps a calculation, or perhaps confusion. "What is that?" she asked, her voice low, almost hesitant. "These humans, they carry weapons far inferior to their size. Yet you do not fear me." Alex swallowed. "Fear isn't our strategy. Adaptation is." A whisper ran through the ranks of cadets. The alien commander has never spoken to a human like that. Zyra's multi-jointed limbs moved with unsettling precision as she walked among the cadets. She observed drills, simulations, even live combat exercises. But the more she watched, the more her metallic features betrayed something she had not intended to show: uncertainty. What I saw next changed everything. During a live-fire simulation, a young cadet tripped and fell under heavy gunfire. Reflexively, Alex threw himself forward, shielding the cadet with nothing but his body. Bullets struck his armor. Some ricocheted, some pierced. Yet he did not scream, did not falter. When the dust cleared, both men were standing. Though Alex's uniform was shredded, his breath ragged. Zyra's eyes widened. "Your biology, it defies logic. No Zarek could endure that without immediate cellular collapse." Alex smiled grimly, ignoring the pain. "We're built differently. We survive." She recorded every moment in her neural memory banks, each observation a puzzle she couldn't solve. But that was only the beginning. Over the next days, Zyra toured the Academy's corridors, laboratories, and restricted areas. Each step revealed secrets she wasn't prepared for. In the biomechanics lab, she watched humans enhance themselves with cybernetic limbs and adaptive armor, technology the Zarek considered sacred, forbidden. "What drives you to risk your own flesh for machines?" she asked, genuinely perplexed. Alex met her gaze. "Because we refuse to be predictable, and because sometimes survival demands evolution." Zyra paused. "And your minds?" "I sense cunning, adaptability, emotional volatility that surpasses tactical logic. These imperfections somehow make you stronger." Alex's jaw tightened. "It's called humanity. We feel, we fail, we rise." A shiver passed through Zyra. She had studied countless civilizations, yet she had never encountered a species that weaponized emotion as effectively as humans did. Every tactic, every maneuver seemed inspired by instinct, yet refined by intellect. What I saw next changed everything. In the Academy's mock battlefield, Alex and his cadets faced a surprise assault simulation. The enemy, holographic but hyper-realistic, outnumbered them 3-1. Zyra expected panic, disarray, surrender. Instead, Alex orchestrated a defense that no algorithm could predict. Cadets flanked, retreated, regrouped with fluid precision, and turned every disadvantage into a tactical advantage. Bullets, explosives, and virtual death swept across the terrain. Yet the humans adapted faster than the simulation could compute. Zyra's recording devices were overwhelmed. The strategic brilliance was almost incomprehensible. These humans, their improvisation is chaotic, yet effective. This should be impossible. Alex, standing amidst the rubble of the simulation, met her gaze again. Impossible is just a challenge waiting for us. Zyra retreated to her private quarters that night aboard the Academy's observation platform. Her neural processors whirred as she reviewed the footage. For the first time in her career, she experienced fear, not of the humans' weapons, not of their strength, but of their potential. What I saw next changed everything. The following morning, Alex led Zyra to the cadet dormitories. She expected to witness discipline, routine, perhaps order, but what she saw instead was compassion. Cadets tended to one another's injuries, argued over strategy, comforted those who had failed. It was raw, emotional, unquantifiable. Your species, it binds logic with feeling. How do you control such chaos? She asked, her voice almost trembling. Alex's lips curled into a faint, weary smile. We don't. We channel it. That's the difference between living and surviving. Zyra's limbs trembled minutely, a sign of extreme internal conflict in Xeric physiology. She had expected a society governed by fear and precision. What she encountered was a species that thrived in contradiction. Strength and vulnerability intertwined. Logic and emotion fused into something terrifyingly efficient. By midday, Zyra's tours led her to the Academy's top-secret facility, a vault containing advanced weapon prototypes capable of planetary-scale destruction. The kind of tech she had seen only in her nightmares of interstellar war. What is this? She demanded, scanning the containment fields. Alex's expression darkened. A contingency. In case survival requires more than courage and cunning. She studied him, analyzing body language, neural patterns, metabolic response. Your species, you prepare for annihilation, yet you welcome it in training. You embrace risk as a ritual. None of your kind should survive this level of danger unscathed. Alex's eyes were steady. Most don't, but we adapt, we evolve, and we endure. What I saw next changed everything. Zyra realized that the human concept of resilience wasn't just physical, it was philosophical. Even when faced with annihilation, humans chose to stand, to fight, and to trust one another. This defied every calculation, every simulation she had ever performed. In that moment, she understood the terrifying truth. Humans were unpredictable. They could not be conquered, not with sheer force, not with intimidation, not with strategy alone. Later, in the Academy's observation deck, Alex and Zyra overlooked the training fields. Cadets drilled, laughed, bled, and healed, all under her watchful eyes. The realization settled in her mind like a weight she could not lift. This species, these fragile, chaotic, emotional creatures, were a force she could not contain. Commander Zyra, Alex said softly, do you understand now? She did not respond immediately. Her 6 limbs hovered, the metallic chitin of her armor, reflecting the sunlight in shards of silver and gold. I came to observe. I came to assess. And yet, I am afraid, not of you, human, but of what you represent. Alex tilted his head. What we represent is survival, adaptation, humanity. You're witnessing evolution in real time. Zyra's head lowered. For being accustomed to omnipotence, this was unfamiliar humility. Her mind raced, replaying every drill, every test, every interaction she had witnessed. Each scenario confirmed the same terrifying conclusion. Humans could not be predicted. Humans could not be contained. Humans could not be defeated by logic alone. And that, she admitted, her voice barely audible over the wind, is what terrifies me most. By the time Zyra departed the Academy, her vessel streaked across the sky like a silver arrow. She returned to the Xeric Armada with reports that shocked her superiors. Humans were not a threat to be neutralized. They were a force of nature, impossible to calculate, impossible to control, and almost impossible to conquer. The Xeric generals dismissed her warnings at first. You exaggerate, they said. They are primitive. Their technology is rudimentary. Their strength is limited. Zyra's response was simple. She transmitted the Academy's recordings, every drill, every human adaptation, every moment of courage and compassion. And then she added one final message. They fight not because they must. They fight because they can. And in their defiance, they're stronger than any empire I have ever known. For the first time in her existence, Zyra understood fear in a way that was not tied to death or failure. She feared the human spirit. What she saw that day had rewritten her understanding of the universe. Humanity was not just resilient. They were unpredictable, brilliant, and unstoppable. And for the Zarek Armada, that meant a war they had never anticipated. But for Earth, it meant hope. Alex stood alone on the Academy's roof that night, looking up at the retreating ship. A quiet smile crossed his face. Humanity had survived the observation of a super-intelligent alien commander, and in doing so, they had made her understand the one truth no calculation could ever predict. Humans were, by their very nature, unconquerable. The sky went silent. The stars blinked with indifference, yet somewhere across the void, Zyra's mind replayed every moment. She returned terrified, and humanity had not even lifted a finger